all good to go, and then we can get into the Q&A. I'll also wait until a few more of you guys are in here before we start. I hope you're all having a good day. At this point, if you guys are watching back, if you have any more questions, just leave them down in the comments, and I'll also keep this live stream up so you guys can come back and watch this, and I can answer some more questions, or I could leave them in my next live stream. Okay, it looks like I'm like, it's echoing. Okay. So we've got the audio working. I thought I would use my little microphone here. So hopefully that works out. I connected it to my phone. I haven't done a vertical live stream with you guys in a while. I have a bunch of questions that you guys gave me over on my socials. So I'm going to just bring those up. In the end, there we go. We will pop the chat out on my computer, so then it's just easier for me to answer while we're doing the live stream. There we go. I'm also planning on doing a live stream on Friday as well, so if you guys want to hang out with me on live stream, I'm going to be doing a collab with another artist, so I'm really excited about that. Here, I'll give you a little sneak peek of, I started sketching out what we're going to be doing. I'm gonna do these little flowers. I found these like little blue flowers. She wanted to do a collab where we only use one color. So we're actually gonna be using ultramarine blue, only ultramarine blue for this one. And then obviously like the tints and shades. So we'll use black and white as well for, just doing some little flowers. So that'll be fun because normally I use a pretty big color palette, so only using one color will be a really cool way to do this. And yeah, I'm excited to collab with some more artists this week. It'll be really neat. I'm gonna chat with one of them, I think tomorrow morning. It's hard to like set up collabs like all over the world, because then you're just like, okay, when can we chat, because there's such a time difference. So yeah, if any of you are artists and want to collab, let me know and we can do some painting together. So that one will be really fun because it's kind of like a monochromatic painting. And I guess I will get into the questions that I have asked you guys. So the first one is, how do you balance creating art and managing social media? I mean, I want to say that I don't, or I haven't found like a great balance yet, but honestly, I've found some really cool tools to help out my husband. He also helps me out behind the scenes on my YouTube and then with all my other socials. And we've been using a platform called Buffer. Newer to me, but I've been using it for maybe like the last year now. And we have, I think we bought like a plan so that we can have like 4 accounts on there, but you can schedule posts. So it's just like a scheduling post app that I use. So that helps me manage it a little bit. And then I would say, I don't know, just making sure that I get some art in, as well as, you know, the social part of it. So you kind of have to balance a little bit of both. Another question I got down here, I guess I could answer this one at the same time, is like, how do you balance like family life? Because me and my husband have a kid. He's almost 10 years old now. And creativity. I would say that the best thing you can do as a parent is continue to pursue your passions and to, you know, like show your kids or do the same things with your kids and show them how much you love it. So like a lot of the time he'll be home and I'll be doing my art, and he really enjoys that with us. So that is my little balance speech, I guess. And then, can you talk a little bit about your journey of becoming a full-time artist? So I would say, I'm not quite like a full-time artist right now because I think my main job is being a stay-at-home parent still, but full-time as in I do it on the side. I think it's really hard to make art a full-time job, but it definitely is possible. I'd like it to be my full-time job at some point, but I guess until my mom duties are done, it's going to be really hard to have it as like a full-time thing. But I am, maybe they mean like if you're making a living off of it, which I'm making a bit of money off of art right now, but it's not enough to like support my whole family. Like my husband does work. He's just very supportive of it, and he's always supported me being a stay-at-home mom as well. So having a husband that supports it, hello, welcome to the stream. But yeah, having a husband that supports it, or a partner that supports your, artistic journey. I mean, it does definitely help that I've been a stay-at-home parent and been able to pursue some of it while my kid's been home. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out in the live stream. But yeah, I just kind of do a little bit of both, looking after our kiddo, taking care of the house. I still got dishes I got to do over there later today. So one of the actually big things that we've done in the last couple of years, and I've talked a little bit about this on my channel, but we sold our big house and we downsized to a condo, and that has freed up a lot of our time, like a lot of our time. We had a big house with a yard to manage, and there was really high bills in our other house. Like we had a mortgage on the other place. And so downsizing to a condo and being able to put money in towards, our creative hobbies instead of just having more space and more to manage really helped. So just being okay with having less has really helped us be able to kind of pursue more creative endeavors. And my husband's actually been able to leave the military because he was in the Canadian Navy here. And he didn't want to be sailing all the time and traveling, so wanted to be close to us as a family. So he quit the military, I guess a few years before we moved, but we had decided we wanted to like downsize. So then he didn't have to be in the military anymore. And yeah, that's been really nice having him home. And he's had more like work from home jobs now. He kind of like converted from like tech roles, and now he's taking over his mom's like life insurance business. So quite the pivot from like military electronics technologist to now doing life insurance. He's actually like writing a life insurance exam today. Like he's just getting like fully licensed now before he can start helping take over his mom's clients. But yeah, that's quite the process. Okay, let me get back to these questions now. So how to photograph artwork, best way to make prints on a budget. Okay, this is a pretty big question, because I would say okay, so if you want to do it on a budget, honestly, I would just go and hire someone else to do it. Like I would get prints done online or go to like a local print shop and get them to print it, because learning how to do it yourself is really challenging. Like getting the colors accurate. I actually worked at a print shop when I was in high school, and I didn't know it at the time. I really hated working there. I didn't know it at the time, but it really did help me a lot in this aspect. So I learned a little bit about print and how like their team works and runs this print shop. And yeah, I took a lot from it. And I said I never wanted to work in a print shop, but then now I'm like making prints at home. So that's a little funny. I can, here, let me see. I have, do I have it? Yes, I do. Okay, so I made prints the other day actually. So I've been using the Red River paper, this brand here. So that's the ones I'm using for my art prints right now. I have, so when you're making prints, you need like, you trial a lot. So the first print that I did for my most recent painting was this. And then I changed some of the colors because I didn't like how the colors were turning out. So you kind of have to do like a lot of test prints when you're printing. And so I have like this program on my computer that helps to try to match the colors that you see on the screen to how they'll come out in print. So you end up like Red River papers, they give you like printer profiles. So you have to learn about printer profiles and how to properly size things on your computer. And so I do a lot of test prints, and from this print to this print, the color is more accurate. And then from this print, I just kind of like, it's kind of hard to see, but some of the greens were a little bit off. So I played with some of the colors, and I had to reprint one of the areas because some of this was like a little bit like foggy. It like didn't look very good. So that's kind of my printing process, is honestly, you just have to keep doing like trial prints and then learning about printer profiles. And I also have a special data color machine that hooks up to your computer, and it tests like the brightness of your screen, and it helps you do all the settings and stuff. But that's like a few $100s, and then you have to buy like a nice printer as well on top of it. So like the most budget friendly is honestly just, I would just go and get prints done by a professional if you don't want to learn all of that. But that's my advice for printing. And then what is the next question? We've got, you do so many small projects. What's the largest you've done, and how long did it take you? Same with the smallest. So when I first started oil painting, my aunt actually asked me to do a really massive piece. Like it was, I think it was like a 4 by 5 feet in length. So like it was massive. It was like a giant landscape. She kind of just gave me free range. I was starting out, and I kind of worked on it over the course of like a year. Not like every day or anything. I just kind of like kept coming back to it and working on it when like layers would dry, and I re-edited how I wanted it. I don't even know if I have a picture anymore. I could get her to take a picture of it and show you guys. She still has it hanging up in her house. She was my first customer. Yeah, my family's been really supportive. I've always loved art, so a lot of them were the first ones to own any of my art. But yeah, that was my biggest project. I went from first starting out with like these giant canvases, and then they slowly like got smaller over the years, and now like my paintings are this tiny. Which is like really ridiculous to think about how like massive some of my first ones were. And I was telling this story on, I think it was my Facebook page the other day, where the reason that I started doing minis is because when I bought these, I will show you the paper I used too, because I know that's another question. So I buy these big like paper packs, and it's an oil painting paper, so you could use like acrylics or oils on them, but you don't have to prime them. So I bought these like really nice oil pads of paper, and all I do is I cut them up into the little size. So into, these are 3" by 3" size. And I originally was just painting on the full thing. And then I decided to cut it up because I had one sheet of paper left after practicing for like maybe like a month. And I was like, how can I stretch this longer? Oh, well, I'll just do smaller ones. But I really fell in love with this small size. I really enjoy the small, intricate work. Here, I have another one over here too. These are some of the ones that I have on my desk. So I got little peaches. I love painting food. You'll see a lot of food in my art. Yeah, I just love the small size. These ones take a lot less time than the bigger ones. I would say, like, I remember this one maybe taking me like 5 hours, and this one maybe taking me about 4 hours. So not too much time. You can do it in a day, which I really enjoy, being able to do like all of this detail, but also finishing a piece. I had a lot of trouble finishing pieces and like coming back to them. So that's why I've kind of like encouraged a lot of like my coaching clients to do mini paintings to start, because it's so much more approachable, and I find I get more things done. And now I have like a giant wall. Actually, I could take you guys off of here for a second and show you my wall of art. Okay. Got, how do I do this? Got to flip. So I actually recently hung up a bunch of, I gotta move my microphone. I actually recently hung up a bunch of my little mini paintings here, and then I have a few over on that wall over there. So just trying to like frame a lot of these paintings. Those ones are like 6 by 6s, and then these ones are the 3" by 3". I wanted them to be portable because sometimes I teach like in-person oil painting classes, and I really wanted to be able to take it along and show people some like examples of my work. So I did have them like all just kind of like on the wall before, just randomly, but now I've got them framed, which is kind of nice. I like having them framed and all done. Okay. Next question is, what is your favorite medium? So I guess I could grab the actual bottle of medium. Where is it? I use linseed oil for my oil paintings. I don't actually like using any solvents in my oil painting. I was also explaining this the other day on my Facebook, that you don't have to use solvents in order to oil paint. The tubes of oil paint are just pigment and linseed oil, or at least the ones I use. So I just add a little bit of linseed oil if I want to thin it. You can't add too much of this because the oil won't adhere properly if you add too much oil. But I just put the linseed oil in little containers. So I dump it from this, and then I kind of can dip my paintbrush in here. And I use it to also clean my brushes as well. And while we're on brush cleaning, I like to use this Master's brush cleaner. That was another question that I got. It's just like this little, and you get it wet, and then it's like a soapy kind of conditioner for your brushes. And it works for oil paint, watercolor, acrylics, and stains. I feel like a lot of artists know about this one. It's in most art stores, I would say, at least in North America. I don't know where else in the world. I'm in Canada, so yeah, that one is good. So that's my favorite medium, is linseed. The one other medium I do want to try is walnut oil. I heard it's like a slightly slower drying oil, but it's a bit more clear and less of that like yellowy color than linseed oil. So I'll let you know if I try that one at some point. And how do you make money on Facebook or social media in general? So I recently got monetized on my Facebook, which was honestly a surprise because I thought I would get monetized on YouTube first because I have more like subscribers here and I spend a lot of time on my YouTube channel versus like, especially Facebook. It's just kind of like I post on Instagram and then it like auto posts to like my Facebook page. So I hadn't spent a lot of time on Facebook, so I don't know. I don't really know how, I guess like people like in my family, I have a lot of family members maybe on Facebook and a lot of them were interacting with my posts quite a bit. I have like, what is it, like 2,300-ish followers on Facebook. I didn't think you could get monetized that early with that little, but I guess my videos and stuff have been getting enough traction, so they invited me to the partner program earlier than they normally do, which is kind of cool. So that's how I got monetized on Facebook, was just, I just post videos. Like I post a lot of reels on there from my Instagram, and then I make like static posts. I really love writing, and I'm normally like on my blog writing, but I've been trying to turn that into more kind of just picture posts lately, and that's been really helping. Just sharing it in like smaller chunks rather than like a giant blog style post. And then the actual like making money part is you just make money from like AdSense. And then on Facebook, they have this thing called like stars. And so your audience can like buy the stars and then they can like, it's like a donation, I guess, but like Facebook's way of donating, it's like stickers. So you get to like have little stickers. So some people have like, so I've officially made like $5. Well, it will be USD. So I don't know what that is in Canadian, but it's good right now. And yeah, so making a little bit of money doing that. Most of my art money doesn't come from like ads and social media though, specifically not the social media platforms, but the funnel that I've created outside of it. So people buy stuff from my website, or I talk about like, you know, like the one-on-one coaching I do, or I've had like organizations in our community like reach out to me and then want to do like classes and stuff. So I've last year I hosted like painting thing. We painted, I don't have the painting right now, but it was like tomatoes kind of like this, and we just painted, and they found me on my social media, which was really cool. And so social media can kind of bring money that's not just like based on like AdSense, because a lot of creators don't really make all their money on just like AdSense. It's normally, you know, products or sponsorships, or like that's why a lot of creators do like ads and stuff. I haven't done any of that. If I have a company reach out to me that I actually care about, then maybe I'll do a sponsorship. But I haven't had any reach out to me yet that I really want to work with yet. So yeah, right now the money is just coming from like actually selling my art or doing like in-person classes, and then like the one-on-one coaching sessions. So that's where I'm making the art money right now. Oh, okay. This question, how long have you been doing art for? I mean, every artist is like my whole life. Specifically, I've been oil painting for the last 5 years now. I started in like 2021. Before that, I was using acrylic paints, but I started taking, I guess, my art like more seriously and like developing my skills and taking classes about 5 years ago. And now one of the things I really wanted to learn was realism. So I put a lot of effort in the last 5 years to learn about realism and how to create like realistic colors. And now that I know how to color mix, I can play around and, you know, make these little little realistic paintings. I really love the small size. Like, honestly, it's really fun because then, like, color mixing is probably my favorite part about doing art. And with these realistic paintings, you get to like really kind of like hone in and be like, oh, like this color here. And I love to use like brighter colors. I don't know if you can tell the painting. You can tell more in this one, I guess, where like the darker areas, like the shadows, aren't actually black. Like, I love using a color palette that's like really bright and saturated. So I actually use like a very dark purple. So this is like an ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. In this back section, you can kind of see some of the purple coming out of it. But I love to use that as like my color palette. And it's been, I guess, one of the fun things I've really enjoyed learning about in that process. So that answers that question. And then how long does it take you to paint a mini painting? Oh, I guess I answered that one. It takes me, for a mini painting, I would say anywhere between like 3 to 5 hours. Like, some of these ones that are a little bit more detailed are like, I think I said this one was about 4 hours. And I have some that like don't have, here, I did this one the other day. This one actually didn't take me too long. I did this one on live stream a few weeks ago for Valentine's Day. This one actually only took me like 2 hours to do, which is pretty fun. 2 hours, like not including, I guess, the sketch, because I normally do the sketch beforehand, but that's 2 hours for like the color mixing and then the actual painting and kind of like explaining my process. So yeah, if you guys want to see or paint along with this one, I have like the reference photos for like my little live streams that I do. I call it the mini paint challenge. I have the reference photos up on my website, and then you can like paint along with the live streams. But yeah, that one only took me about 2 hours. I've gotten faster over the years. I think you just learn how to make decisions a little bit faster, like the longer you do it for. And yeah, I used to do a lot of painting and like working with like music, but I actually really love working in silence now. It's been kind of in the last year, I find that I can kind of get in the zone more and really kind of like hyper focus on just like the painting. And I find it more peaceful to like not have anything distracting me in the background. So I try to paint when like my son's at school and my husband's maybe not here, he's working, or he's like at the gym or something, and I can just focus on painting, which is kind of fun. What paints do you use? So I use oil paints. Let me grab one of them. I use the Gamblin like Artist oil colors. They're like a professional oil color. This one is cadmium yellow light. These ones are, I don't know, this is what they sell locally here, and it's one of the higher quality ones that you can buy locally, which I really appreciate. There's some like cheaper ones you can buy, but honestly, like investing in good quality oil paints right from the start, because these last for like quite a long time. Like I've had this tube for a few years now. It's slowly done now, but it lasts for quite a while, which is nice, depending on like what pigment. Like I don't need to use a lot of, I find this cerulean blue. This is cerulean blue hue. I have had this since I first started oil painting 5 years ago, and it's so pigmented that you don't need to use a lot of it. And I find, yeah, you just like, you kind of, there's an upfront cost, obviously. Like I've probably got, I haven't counted actually how much money of oil paints I have. I don't know if I want to know how much, but it depends on like the tube. Like this cadmium yellow light probably would have been around $50 for this, maybe like $55 for like one tube. This is one of the more expensive pigments. Some of the other pigments are more like $30 or $40, and that's for Canadian. So I don't know what the conversion would be in other countries, but yeah, I've probably got a lot of money in these paints. But yeah, that's the only brand of paint I use because it's just easier to use the same paints and pigments, because like each pigment in different brands might look slightly different. They'll be very similar, but they will have a slight difference. So I like to be more like consistent with my colors so that I know kind of what I'm getting. So you get used to what you're working with. So I was actually showing some of my friends this the other day. I have like a drawer full of some more paints in here. These ones are like less common pigments, or just like ones that I don't use as often. Like I've got like Indian yellow in here and manganese violet. I've got phthalo blue. They're ones that I just don't use as often, but I find it's easier to just use like a small color palette. And now that I've painted for so long, I don't think I would buy as many paints. I think when I was first getting started, I kind of just was like, ooh, that's a pretty color, that's a pretty color, and I didn't realize that actually I need kind of just like, I have like a favorite base palette that I like using now. So you don't need like a ton of paints. Okay, next question. How long have you been painting to get this good? I guess that's kind of like the other one, but how long have you been painting to get this good? I would say over the last like 4 to 5 years is when I put in the most work to get to this like realism state. So I really, really wanted to learn realism. And so painting, 4 to 5 years, pretty much painting like one of these mini paintings a few times a week. And I did that for 4 or 5 years and just practice color mixing and working with different techniques and taking classes and learning online. I did have a lot of painting knowledge beforehand from taking a lot of art classes in high school, but I didn't take any sort of like university classes or anything. I just had high school art. And yeah, that kind of like just kind of continued through the years. I did it kind of just for fun. And then, the last 4 or 5 years is when I took it a little bit more seriously and I wanted to really improve my skills. So I put a little bit more effort into it then. And then, girl, how do you do such amazing art? Can you help me develop my art skills? Yes, I have live streams that I have posted on my YouTube channel that I've done in the past, so you can go back and like watch how I paint and do my process. I was saying that this was my most recent one that we did for Valentine's Day. I don't do live streams every week anymore. I used to do a thing called the mini paint challenge like every single week, like on Wednesdays, and I just don't do the live streams as much anymore. But if you guys want me to do more live streams again, I would be happy to do, like I try to do it like once a month now, just because they take a lot of time to set up. But if there's more demand for them, then I would be happy to do more live streams. I just find, like once they're up there, at least you guys can like watch them back, and you can still leave your comments down below, and I can try to answer any questions you have for like a specific painting if there's like something that doesn't make sense. But I also offer one-on-one coaching sessions as well. So if you wanted to talk about creativity, I call it my creativity coaching. I call it Sweet Support on my website, so you could look at that if you want to if you want to develop skills and work on your creativity, or you have questions with like social media and stuff, I'd be happy to help. So you can go on my website for the creativity coaching. But yeah, I could definitely help if you need it. And then, oh my gosh, one of the questions I got was, can I eat it? Now, I do paint a lot of food, but no, you cannot eat the art. What camera do you use to film your videos? So I mostly use my phone. Like, phones are honestly great. Like, you don't need to buy a fancy camera, but I do have a fancier camera. I like to do more like photographs and stuff on this, so I do like photography. This one is the Sony A6400 series. This one has like a giant lens on it right now. Normally it has like a tinier lens, so this just looks like intimidating with a giant lens, but it's just like a little mirrorless camera. Pretty reasonable. I think with the lenses and everything included, it was only, okay, I'm not reasonable maybe because a few $1,000s, but like phones are a few $1,000s too. So like it makes sense, right? It's gonna be expensive to get a camera, but this one's really nice. It's good for vlogging because it has like a little screen that pops up in the back. Really like that aspect of it. It has like little shoots, so then you can put a little microphone on it. And then I find it's really good for my time-lapse videos, so photography specifically. It's really great for that. It's also got 4K on it, so if you want to do like vloggy type ones, this wouldn't be the lens you would use. This is like my photography lens. Yeah, I find this camera is really good. It's worked out. I probably am not getting like the full use that I could out of it. I don't know how to use it like super well. Like, I'm still learning how to use a fancier camera, but it's a great, I would say, starter camera. And there is like manual settings on it, and there's lots of tutorials for this one online. And I found quite a few tutorials to help me like with the more like advanced settings on the camera. So I find this camera works pretty well. And all of the lenses and stuff, like, it's pretty reasonably priced compared to some other like more professional cameras. It's a good like kind of starter vlog camera, and especially since like the screen pops up like this, like it's so nice. You're able to like see yourself when you're filming this way instead of, you know, some of the other cameras don't do that. And then yeah, I just also use my phone. It's just easier to have a point and shoot camera rather than having to do all of the settings all of the time. And honestly, phones are really good nowadays. Like, I'm doing this live stream on my phone. I do have a little mic to go with it. This one is the Blue Yeti microphone. I think the brand changed or something at some point, but it's like the Blue Yeti microphones. And I find they work pretty good. I had a lot of issues at the start, like trying to figure out like what microphone would work the best. But yeah, this one works good. Sounds good for like my live streams and stuff. And yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's all of the questions. So unless you guys have some more questions, I guess we'll end the live stream here. But I will be live streaming again on Friday, so you can catch me on Friday for like another live stream. And we're gonna be painting these cute little flowers. But I guess until then, I will see you guys on Friday. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thanks for hanging out with me.